Hey everyone, Percy here. So let's talk about Smartlimit. Now Smartlimit is the latest release by Sonible, was released about 5 days ago or so. So what is Smartlimit? Well, Smartlimit is a limiter, a true peak limiter to be precise, and is driven mainly by artificial intelligence. Now Sonible has been building up quite a reputation for releasing these smart plugins. Good example is the release of Smart EQ 3 earlier this year, and they're generally doing a pretty good job at that. So that's why this is a pretty interesting release, highly anticipated. So let's take a look at it. Now, by the way, I will leave a link in the description, which will take you to Plugin Boutique. It is going to be an affiliate link, which means that should you be interested and use that link, there will be no extra cost to you, but I would get a little commission, which of course would help support this channel. Okay, now let's take a look at Smartlimit. Now again, this is what it looks like. Now, as I mentioned, Smartlimit is a true peak limiter. So typically you would use that in your mastering effects chain. So at the end of your mastering effects chain. Well, I guess you could also use it on a single track, but that would kind of be like using a supercomputer to calculate the result of 3 plus 5. So don't use it on a single track. It's really made for mastering. And as we look at the interface, you can also see that it is specifically aimed at publishing your music. So let's take a look at this drop-down menu here. If we open that, you can see a bunch of streaming platforms. So if we pick one, let's pick Spotify, for example, then what it will do, it will adjust some parameters to help you get the result that is optimized for that specific target, as they call it, for that specific streaming platform. So just by seeing this feature, that is a very good indication of the purpose or the intended purpose of this plugin, which is publishing. Now, in and of itself, it's a pretty simple interface. Actually, the layout is very clear, very easy to understand, especially for anyone who's familiar with limiters. So over here, we can set the limit. And then here we can set the gain, the input gain. Here we can set the attack, and here we can set the release. And then to the right here, this is a very advanced monitoring section. But anyway, so far in terms of setup, nothing really out of the ordinary. Now, as you might have guessed, the true power of this plugin, what really sets it apart is the artificial intelligence it comes with. So let's play some music and see how it works. Okay, now the first thing to do is to go to this drop-down menu, and here we can select a profile. Now each profile is, corresponds to a specific genre. So we can do that. Alternatively, what we could do is load a reference track that would also do the trick. But in this case, let's just choose one of the profiles. And then while the music is playing, we can press this learn button over here. And then within seconds, Smartlimit will come up with some settings that it believes will optimize your song for the streaming platform that you've selected. Now, when that all is done, we still have some options to tweak it all a little bit. Now, first of all, of course, we can still adjust the aforementioned settings. Never thought I would use that word, aforementioned. But anyway, we can still adjust the limit. We can adjust the attack, the gain, and the release. But if we look down here, we have 4 additional settings we can play with. So first of all, style. So if we turn this knob all the way to the left, it will be much more a soft limiter. If we turn it all the way to the right, it will be limiting hard, and we can set it anywhere in between. Then we can also add some saturation over here. Then balance. With balance, we can adjust the spectral balance, which is a little bit difficult to explain. You should hear it. And finally, here we have the bass control, and with the bass control we can enhance the low end, and it will also tighten the bass. Okay, now let me mention 2 more monitoring features. So first of all, down here to the left we have the distortion monitoring, which is pretty self-explanatory. So this monitors how much distortion might be going on. So if we bring up the input gain, you will see that we have more distortion. If we bring it down, less distortion. Okay, and then finally down here we have the quality check. Now the quality check, if we press this, it will give you some guidelines regarding some criteria that Smartlimit thinks you should meet before publishing on the streaming platform you've selected. Okay, so that's an overview of the interface of Smartlimit. Okay, so in conclusion, so what do I think of Smartlimit? Well, let me just come out and say that as a limiter in and of itself, I think it's a pretty good limiter. I mean, the interface looks great, it's very clear, very easy to understand, very easy to use, very intuitive. Sound quality is very good. It also seems like, no matter how hard you push this limiter, it's not gonna break down on you. I also really like the controls, they're very subtle, but not too much, they found a great balance there. So all in all, I'm pretty impressed with this just being a limiter. Now to the point of it being a smart plugin. Now, not everyone is a fan of smart plugins. I mean, some are just outright against smart plugins. Others might not be ready yet for smart plugins. So many people are just a little bit reluctant to use smart plugins. So for example, I can imagine that for some seasoned mastering engineers, especially the more old school ones, that they're not necessarily very eager to grab something like this. I can really understand that. Now, on the other hand, I have to say that within the context of a music industry where more and more we're seeing artificial intelligence being incorporated into the workflow of producers, mixing engineers, mastering engineers, the quality of smart plugins is clearly increasing. And this is definitely a great example of that. I'm very impressed with the artificial intelligence it comes with. The suggestions it makes are just very good. Of course, you can still make some adjustments afterwards manually. I think you will have to because, artificial intelligence will only take you so far. But anyway, the metering is very advanced. The guidance, so the tips it gives you are really helpful potentially. So all in all, I think that looking at this as a limiter in and of itself, but also looking at this within the context of it being a smart plugin, I think they've done a very, very good job at Sonible. So that's basically it for today. That's what I think about Smartlimit. Go check it out for yourself if you like and let me know what you think. Okay, thanks for watching and I will talk to you next time.